KaiJune.
Oh, hello. Welcome to KaiJune, Day 10. We're covering Gamera vs. Virus today, which is the direct continuation of the other films in the Gamera series. This time with 19 minutes of stock footage, released in the US as Destroy All Planets. This is a film that doesn't really care if it's using all the stock footage from the other Gamera films. It does so intentionally to try to recap what happened with Gamera beforehand, and also to waste a whole bunch of time kind of just taking a look back at all the stuff that Gamera's done before. It follows the regular Japanese routine of recapping things that probably people don't really need recapped, just like an anime where they devote a whole episode to recapping whatever happened in the past 10, 13 episodes. So Gamera vs. Virus does the same thing. You will get about 10 minutes of footage from both the two other Gamera films before, where he's actually fighting monsters. And then later on in the film, when he's destroying cities, you will see again black and white footage from the original Gamera film cut into this color video without even a care in the world, where it switches back and forth. There's no one who said, hey, maybe we shouldn't put this in the film because it's black and white and the other parts of it are in color. But we get that, and that is all part of Gamera vs. Virus, and it's supposed to be part of whatever's going on in the present time of the film. Whoever thought it was a good idea probably didn't realize that some people wouldn't like having to sit through about 20 minutes of recap footage before they actually got to any real plot. But that's what happens in Gamera vs. Virus. And it's actually a movie that takes on a different sort of theme for Gamera. Most of the time there's just a giant monster that comes to Earth, and Gamera has to fight him, and then that's it for the film. But in Gamera vs. Virus, it starts out a little bit differently, where Gamera attacks a ship that kind of looks like four giant bumblebees in space. And that ship is actually trying to target Earth to overtake it. And then when Gamera attacks, he destroys the one ship from this home planet of Virus. So Virus comes down to Earth in a different ship and wants to take out Gamera because they know that they can't take over the Earth with Gamera present. So the first thing that they want to do is try to incapacitate Gamera and then take over Earth. What happens is they come down to Earth. Gamera starts to fight them off. Unfortunately, he is stopped because of it's like a laser beam that puts a sort of cover on Gamera. It looks like a cup that sits on Gamera. It's called their catch ray, and it only lasts for a certain amount of time, so they have to implant a device that allows them to telepathically give Gamera orders on what to do. So they can tell him to destroy cities and destroy towns, whatever they really want him to do. In the meantime, there's a Boy Scout camp on the coastline who are having a jamboree sort of thing, and there's two boys in it, Jim and Misao, who are always mischievous. They're always getting into trouble. They change around the controls on a little submarine that they're going to be taking out into the water, so that forward is reverse and reverse is forward. And it's made clear that Misao is almost a genius when it comes to any machinery, because he has built a walkie-talkie watch as well, with a compass in it. So Misao and Jim are exploring, and they actually find Gamera at the bottom of the ocean, nearly get stuck in the catch ray before they escape, thanks to Gamera's help, apparently. In this one, Gamera is mainly known as a good guy, even though he has destroyed towns in the past, and apparently everybody's forgotten that he did rampage in the first film, even though we do see all that footage again. But this time it's a light-hearted attempt at portraying Gamera, especially because the film really makes it a point to show us that he has a soft spot for kids, and we have seen that in other films, but in this one it truly is the example here He saves Misao and Jim from certain death a number of times, and he does not care that they keep weaving in and out of his legs underwater in the submarine. So in that instance, we have Gamera as a good guy, Virus as the evil creatures coming from space that want to take over the Earth, and there really isn't a giant monster to speak of, besides Gamera, obviously, that attacks Earth until the last 10 minutes of the film. That's because Virus is mostly just a bunch of people in a ship, and they are trying to do whatever they can to stop Gamera and then take over the Earth. Misao and Jim are actually transported into the ship, basically to get Gamera to do whatever they want him to do, because if they don't have a hostage, as in these children, then Gamera will just attack Virus and kill it. So instead they take the kids hostage. Gamera has to do whatever they tell him to do, which means basically destroying the cities in stock footage, because most of it isn't really happening in this film. It wasn't shot for the film. It was just stock footage that they had left over from the other films in the series. And the rest of the time is Misao and Jim trying to figure out on the ship what they can do to stop Virus from inside. And Virus's ship is a telepathic cruiser. They can think of what they want, like sandwiches or juice, and that it will pop out of some panels in the wall. But they can't think of anything that they can use to kill any of the people on the ship. And those people on the ship have yellow crazy cat's eyes and apparently machine guns. And there's a giant octopus monster on the ship as well that they're not sure what to do with. But eventually they figure out that they can just switch around two triangular cubes within the ship's devices and reverse the function of the ship, just like they did with the submarine. It's kind of convenient that even though Misao hasn't seen any of this space alien technology, he understands the machinery of it and the workings of it, and can do this without even really breaking a sweat. But that's what happens. They reverse the catch ray so that they are transported back down to Earth, and then Gamera is free to destroy Virus's ship until the monster inside the ship, the octopus squid type guy, grows, because all of Virus's humans are actually these squid guys in disguise. They combine to form the giant Virus, who grows to Gamera's size, and then Gamera and the squid fight. What's interesting about this is that the squid only has a couple of powers. It can throw things, it has those legs that can wrap around Gamera, and it uses its kind of blunt-shaped head as an attack. So it dives at Gamera with its head and actually gets stuck in a rock. So Gamera throws it down to the bottom of the sea, and everybody is happy that Gamera has won. And the Boy Scouts offer up a song for Gamera, basically saying that Gamera is #1, that they all love Gamera. It's an odd sort of march, and it happens at the beginning of the credits, so you don't really understand that Gamera is the good guy in this film until you do get into the film later on. So it's odd to see in the credits that everybody is praising Gamera when before he has been the giant monster that terrorizes all of Japan. This film has a very different vibe from the rest of the films in the series. It's not as serious. It definitely has a lot of slapstick moments and comedy, and it is probably one of the worst films in the Gamera series. Not only because it uses all that stock footage, but just because it differs from the tone so much. And the Virus monster, while pretty creative, trying to give it a different feeling, where it's not just a giant monster attacking cities all the time, doesn't really work that well. In that instance, there's no kaiju carnage to speak of, really. There's only a few buildings that are crumbling or collapsed, and that's mostly because of the stock footage, not anything that actually happens in Gamera vs. Virus for the footage. There is a couple spaceships from Virus blown up, and I have 11 buildings crumbled. But most of those are actually from the other films, so counting them doesn't really make sense for Gamera vs. Virus. Other than that, though, it's not a recommended film to start off with. Gamera versus Virus really is not like the others, and to start off with this one, you probably would not see Gamera as the threat that he's supposed to be in the other films. But it does recap all those other films, so if you don't feel like watching the others, you definitely can check this one out, and you'll get to see all the best parts of the Gamera versus Baragon without having to watch that film, because they do show you the extended fight scene in that one for about 5 minutes, and then the rest of it from Gamera versus Gyaos, they take another 5 minutes to show you that fight. Other than that, though, Gamera vs. Virus isn't really recommended, and unless you want to sit through some old black and white stock footage, some stock footage from the other films, and then just a little bit of plot thrown in with a monster that doesn't really work that well, you best leave this one alone. And it is included in this collection with the American cut, which is the one with the 19 minutes of stock footage, as that was marketed as Destroy All Planets, which was trying to bank off of the movie Destroy All Monsters, basically trying to just pull in some revenue for that, which is another reason why it feels like it's so slapdash and put together really shoddily. It's because it is. Other than that, though, it's not really worth your time, and even though it's kind of fun, and the Boy Scouts add a different sort of feeling to the film with the characters, because most of the time there is a masculine character and a feminine romance plot with it as well. This time there's nothing like that, just Boy Scouts and a giant spaceship. But I'm going to close out Gamera vs. Virus today. You should enter your Gamera Ultimate Collection giveaway, which is basically signing up for the MailChimp newsletter, putting your email and name in, and you will be entered to win the Gamera discs, both volumes 1 and 2, and signed up for my awesome newsletter, which I just sent out a couple days ago, and another one will go out at the end of this week to recap more of KaiJune. So keep watching, and I will let you know when everything goes up for the newsletter. Thanks a lot.